I don't think I've done it before, but I admit it. Marvin Gaye had told Billboard magazine that Barry White was going to produce his next album. He said this right before he was unalived. And it was quite eerie because it was all over the magazines. And Barry White said he was in Israel and he was coming back from his tour. And he said everybody come run up to him, brothers and sisters, say, "You producing Marvin Gaye?" What would that have been like? Well, at that time, Barry White, at that time, his 80s sound had been more computerized. Things had changed drastically, but Marvin Gaye went with more technical. What I would have liked to have seen this though, probably after I Want You, I would imagine they had to work together in the 70s. Today you get all these collaborations and you get these artists working together and jumping on tracks. What would that have been like in the 70s? Imagine that when the Champagne Soul, the strings that Barry White was putting down with his groundbreaking disco flavored dance tracks, well, that had funk and rhythm on them with Marvin Gaye's grooves, especially when he did that after Duets album, after the Trouble Man soundtrack, after Let's Get It On, after working with Donna Ross. When you could be crazy prolific and productive, and right before he did the I Want You album, what would that have been like if the Maestro and Marvin Gaye had to work together? Say about 74, 75, because he did that live in Oakland album, which was hit and miss to me. I did love Distant Lover, but imagine it around that time when Barry White was hitting for the stars and he couldn't miss. You know, imagine if they had done something together around that time. Because it was a sentiment that the echoes and the haunted soul is what Marvin Gaye said he could identify with Barry White. And he after had to admire that quality. Plus the richness and the tapestry of what he was able to do as a stylist, producer, arranger, composer. Not to mention those Gene Page arrangements and those string charts. When you hear that, you just kind of wonder about that lushness, how that may have been had they got together, especially during their peaks and their primes, because they were both peaking and prime. But you see, again, people who come up nowadays don't understand. There was none of this we buddy buddy pally pally. You're so used to it when you watch NBA and you watch the collaborations and everybody's all buddy, but it wasn't like that. People were like competing and they were bringing their best out and they were very much trying to make a statement. They wasn't all chummy, all in it. But if we could have had it back then, especially these two musical titans, that would have been rich. The thought that Barry White almost produced Marvin Gaye and would have loved it had it been 10 years prior. Because by 84, Marvin's last 2 years, you could definitely tell he was definitely on some different things and different things. And musically, the Midnight Love album, which came back, was a big album and all that. Though I wasn't blown away by it like that. More of his 70s stuff is what I like.